Hello, everybody. This is how goofy we are. Yeah, I saw that. Do it again.
No.
Hey, on today's podcast, we talked about chemtrails. What else? Keep going.
We
Rail
talked
nuts.
about yo-yos,
Yo-yos.
about
Um,
adoption.
adoption.
Curious.
About people living under the median income to afford housing. This was not a real estate podcast, by the way.
No.
So, we still don't know who Bergwood is.
No, y'all,
Help
you
us
gotta
find out.
help us out. And poor Eric didn't know either.
No. Anyway, it's a great mystery. Anyway, sit back, have fun.
Careful not to get too close, I might just go. Might just go.
Boom, I'm like a bomb in a room. Blow up the spot, everybody gotta move. Life or death, everybody gotta choose. Life or death, everybody gotta lose.
That's a way to start. Well, we are live again with Mr. Bergwood. I don't think we should ever look up who this is.
I don't know who that is, but I'm gonna tell you.
Dental
His
boy.
dental plan
He's on it with his little
is,
wobbly
is
leg.
perfect. If anybody knows who this is, we'd love to know.
Mr. Bergwood. Hey, why don't you tell everybody what we are, who we are, what we do? All these
Hey,
things.
I'm Paula Sievert. This is Larry. Say
Larry
your
Laughter. Larry Laughter.
Yeah, tell us the proper way to say your last name.
Well, but here's the deal. If I'm in marketing, that really works to my advantage because people remember. It looks
True.
like laughter, but it's pronounced laughter. And I always say, what do? You take a L off and put a D. You don't say dafter. Or you take a S and put it in front of the L. You don't say slafter.
True.
So why is it not pronounced laughter all the time?
I don't know. I like laughter.
But you know who really gets confused with that?
Who?
Freaking Siri. Every time. That's got to be the dumbest robot I've ever experienced.
Siri never understands me. So,
I think Siri causes more wrecks than it does saves lives. I just feel like it does. Like, yeah, because we've all been there. We've all done it. We shouldn't do it, let's be honest. But you're driving down the road, you're using that little correct, Siri voice text, whatever.
Yeah.
See, here's the dummies up again. And then it fills it in, and then it's wrong, and then you're trying to correct it because.
Oh, absolutely. It never
yeah.
understands me. I've gotten to where now I will send a text and say, if you don't understand this, I'm sorry, I am talking to text. I think I sent that to you this morning, didn't I?
did.
So anyway, this is Under One Roof
Yeah.
podcast. And welcome.
Welcome.
It's Tuesday.
It is on a Tuesday. Yep. We've got a great guest that's going to be joining us here in just a few minutes, and we don't want to steal any of his thunder.
No, we don't.
I have a feeling my man can talk a lot. He's been on television a lot, way more than we've done podcasts,
Yes.
and it's just going to be good.
It's going to be good. Larry, before he arrives, I have a special present for you.
But I didn't bring one.
That's okay. It's your birthday week.
You know what?
It
That's
is
a
your
perfect
birthday
segue because I have notes. But go ahead.
Okay, it's in the
This one?
yes, it's in.
Oh,
because-
make it feminine for me here. Lily Plitzer. Paula,
What?
I'm going to reach
It's
in.
great. It's so great. You're not.
I always
gonna-
do this
You're
even
not
at
going to
Christmas,
guess.
right?
You're not. Yay.
Prank fun. I need a hand. Oh, I feel bad for my
we
wife
need to.
now.
We need to just go ahead and break them out. And
Yeah, Bethany, I'm
maybe
sorry,
you
babe.
should shake Eric's hand with one and see if he'll notice. Like, see if we can stick it like this.
I don't know where you found that, but that looks like back in the day, and it's still there. Spencer's. You remember Spencer's?
Open it.
Oh, right
You
now?
have to- yes.
Okay. Does it make like rattling noises?
No. We can clap for everyone now.
Hallelujah. Well, thank you. Somebody's going to get really annoyed with these.
Oh,
It's not going to be me either.
we need our sleeves.
little pterodactyl.
I love it. Okay.
Well, so that's a great little gift. I was going to ask you, when it's your birthday, do you do a birthday week, or a birthday month?
I think just a birthday.
So you'd go with just the day? Because those
Yeah.
people that do like the birthday month,
I'm so jealous too.
I don't think I'm jealous of that. Maybe the birthday
Really?
week, But the birthday month, that's a bit excessive.
I might do the birthday month in
I mean,
January.
veterans
Just
only
get
get a
ready.
day.
I mean, you've got enough notice. January. Paula's birthday month. Get ready.
January.
January.
And that's a slow month, too,
It
right?
is.
So no excuses.
No excuses.
Okay, so last time I was talking about somewhere when I was out and I saw something kind of funny with a guy with a yo-yo.
Oh, yeah.
You saw that? I saw something even more ridiculous this morning on the way to my video
Yo-yo is
shoot.
ridiculous.
Nope. This one screams thirsty all day long. So I'm driving, and I'll
You do
put,
know what that means, right?
yeah. Well, when I tell you, I'm going to show you because you need to see this. But this morning I was driving to do a video shoot in Waxhaw.
Do you know this person? You don't
No,
know. Oh, okay.
They passed by me in a truck. And
Was it Robert?
Look at what the back of this truck says. With a QR code, mind you. Looking for a girlfriend.
That is awesome. We need to share that. I mean, hey, I want to see what the QR code does. I want to see what this guy looks like.
I mean, if you can get a
Here.
signal out here, let's see if it'll at least
Let's
scan.
see. Probably not.
It's going to be kind of fuzzy, hopefully.
Man,
if it's got anything to do
what
with
if I
Siri,
get
though.
like?
Yeah,
What if I get a virus? Or I can open it.
Yeah.
It's his Instagram.
Pull
You
it
want me
up,
to do
pull it
it?
up, pull it
Oh
up.
my gosh.
Hey, this is the things you get, man. When you're riding out in public, we're going to find out.
Wait a minute. I don't have a signal.
It says looking for a
Girlfriend.
girlfriend.
It won't open because I have no signal. Okay, you're gonna need to share
I'm
that
gonna
link
share
because
it.
I know some single girls.
I don't know that. Like, I'm not a parent. I would never in a million years be like, yes, daughter, this guy seems safe. Right?
I mean, I had a message the other day asked me, did I need a sugar daddy?
Did you say no? You say Robert's
No,
got
you
this
told me
all
to
locked.
say yes because we need equipment. You said, I quote, send him our Amazon wish list.
This is not a
Didn't
lie.
you?
This is not a lie.
Yeah, so no.
Well,
I'm going to let you send it to him.
yeah, let's catfish him.
Okay.
Sorry, my dude, you kind of asked for these things. So
Yeah.
anyway, what was your first car?
It was a Nova.
That's a Chevy, right?
Yeah, Nova.
You remember
It was a Nova Super Sport. It was black.
Was it fast?
No. And I
Nova.
thought, oh, this thing is going to be. No, it wasn't.
I don't remember that. I remember that. What? I'm sure if I see it,
I'll
I'll
have to
remember.
text you a picture of
Yeah.
what they look like.
No, but mine was actually a truck.
Really?
It was a Mazda. Let me see. The Mazda B2000, I think it was what it was.
Yeah.
And before I took off driving in it, my dad put a governor on it and didn't tell me. I could not get that vehicle above 65 miles per hour.
I bet my story can beat yours about
Maybe,
the Nova.
but passing people on old country back roads and you can't get around them, that wasn't safe, Dad. I'm just gonna let you know.
So the Nova was my brother's, my older brother's.
Did you wreck it?
No, you wouldn't want. I don't know if you can. Them things. Do you know what? You don't know what Nova is. I'll have to send it to you. They're
Well,
so
we can't
heavy
see it here
and
'cause we're in
huge.
a steel
Okay.
box.
So he got the car and I was in the back seat and, we were driving around and those cars had ashtrays,
Oh,
yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. It must be an old light bulb. It wasn't. No. It was drug paraphernalia.
Right. Wait a minute.
And my brother's like, throw it out. I think the person that we got it from might have left something behind.
They really didn't care.
They didn't care.
No
No.
AFs.
No, they didn't care.
I didn't say that right.
I don't.
Get your slang right, Larry.
But it's sad now. Back then, drug paraphernalia was like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
Now it's like CBD and all that. Like
CBD is not drugs.
It is.
It ain't drugs. It's not drugs.
Does it alter your state of mind?
No, not CBD. No. You're getting twisted.
It altered your mom's state of mind.
That's because it was Delta 8. Delta 8 and Delta 9 are the ones that will give you the hallucinogenic effects. But CBD is good for inflammation. It's actually great for inflammation. There's some
I
really...
might need some of that.
You got to do it. Like, inflammation is so bad in all of us. Like it really is. Like
It is.
if you just go for it. There's brands out there. Like don't go to the BP gas station and buy CBD. That's not a real thing. I mean, maybe it is, but you're not going to find a good brand. But like one that I like to take, it's called Lazarus Naturals. It's out in Oregon,
course.
and it's got like QR
Biblical
codes
name.
and yeah. Anyway, it's good. No, CBD is not a drug. Now, here's the bad part about it. It
You know,
will.
we need to ask
It
about
will make
that.
you fail a drug test, though.
Yeah, that.
But it's not a drug. It's the crazy weak drug testing
we need to
system we got.
ask Dr. Melanie King. We'll text her up
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, what's your?"
We'll be about that. No, I've seen too many good things from people. If you've ever dealt with anxiety, it is a great thing for that. For arthritis, I mean, it kind of sounds like snake oil to a degree, but it's not. Anyway.
Magnesium.
Magnesium
is what
good.
I take for anxiety.
Put them on your feet. You put it on your feet and go to bed.
No,
People do that.
I do have magnesium spray.
Yeah, magnesium's good. Like
It is.
magnesium and like Epsom salt in a bath.
I do that too. I have to.
And lavender. Do you do
Yeah,
the lavender?
I grow
Bethany
lavender.
swears by
I grow lavender. I need to give Bethany
grow
some.
lavender?
Yes.
Babe, don't buy any more. Paula's got to hook up. Well, our next guest is Eric Thomas, and I've hinted about it, and we kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit earlier last week. And this week, we're going to have him on the pod. So we're going to cut, and then Eric's going to be sitting right where Paula's at. We're going to be over here. All right, everybody. So we've been talking about this for a little bit, and we have joined us Chief Meteorologist.
Eric Thomas.
The chief is long gone, I think. Maybe, what is it, meteorologist emeritus now or something?
Well,
I did a little research.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Thank you.
So 33 years. Is that correct? At
Yes, ma'am.
WBTV.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
And you were chief meteorologist.
Well, for
And-
most of it. Yeah. I got there in 88. Well, I'll just back up. So I'm a Penn State grad, class of 82. And there's all kinds of twists. I mean, crazy twists, but I'll just get to the meteorology part. In fall of 83, I started at the NBC affiliate in a small town, Steubenville, Ohio, right across the river from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
That was my hometown. And I was lucky enough to get hired there after doing my internship, and I only stayed there for 6 months. So in the summer of 84, I got my next job, another small market, Monroe, Louisiana, which is halfway between Shreveport and Jackson, Mississippi. And you probably still don't know where I'm talking about.
No.
It's that small.
Eric, she has not left
I
North
don't
Carolina.
travel.
Like,
I gotcha. Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just going to nod and smile.
if you do travel, it won't be to Monroe, Louisiana. But anyway, no disrespect. Anyway, so from the summer of 84 to the summer of 88, I was there in Monroe. A lot of great memories. I met my wife there. And then in the summer of 88, we came to Charlotte.
Okay.
And I remember when I got here, even for the interview, I said, Lord, please give me a shot at this job. And when we did get here, I said, this is where I want to retire. And my wish came true. You know, I'm
is
retired.
wonderful.
well, it's,
Yeah.
it's
That
odd
is
to see
wonderful.
anybody stay in a job that long,
Well,
let alone probably in the media industry.
Yeah, interesting point. Yeah, job security for sure. When I retired at the end of 2021, WBTV had been on the air for 72 years. We came on the air in
Wow.
1949. Okay, so in that 72 years, I was still only the third weeknight weather person in the history of that station.
And you know what else?
What-
The
what-
most popular to all the school-age children because, you know, especially if it was snowing. And you would scroll at the bottom of the channel of what
Yeah.
schools were closing, and everybody's like,
Yeah.
"Woo,
Yeah.
Rowley County is closed."
Yeah.
Yep, and that's all we want you.
Well, no. I mean, there's a lot to your point.
Yeah.
You know, the thing I loved about doing weather versus hard news is it affected everybody.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's a golf game or you're putting a roof on your house or you're hoping for a snow day. It was great because you did feel like you had everybody's attention.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how many fender benders in Lincoln County are we reporting on that
Right.
just don't affect you at all.
Right.
And I mean, but they got to cover something, or a house fire in Boone. It's sad, and you watch it, but it doesn't affect you.
Right.
And so it's nice being able to have that sort of responsibility.
Yeah.
Huh.
That is
So a question that I've always had in the back of my mind, and I've never been able to ask anybody in your industry. That was
Are
a
you
little
applauding
gift.
me, or yeah? Thank you.
Do school teachers and principals collude with chief meteorologists?
No. We collude. Meteorologists collude with the milk stock market. Bread and milk.
Bread and milk.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
I swear, okay. So I ask a lot of questions that are kind of borderline. Should we answer
It
them or
makes
even
me
ask
scared.
them? I know, Paul's like nervous.
Yeah, I'm like,
'cause-
yeah.
and I forgot what I was about to
Thank
say.
God. So,
Did it come back to me?
There's medicine for that. Yeah.
we did get you a gift.
No, I know what it
though.
was. I know what it was.
Oh, okay.
Do
Present.
we not? Yes, we will.
Okay.
Well, it's on my head.
Okay.
Do we not see like more school closings now?
Yes.
Like for the silliest wind reasons or a little bit of rain reasons?
I would say yes. I mean, we live in a very litigious society
Right.
now, so everybody's suing everybody for something,
Right.
and so
True.
you don't want to be liable, and if you figure you keep school in session and some car gets blown off the side of the road by a wind gust, next thing you know, you got a lawsuit. So I believe that, but that would be the reason.
Right.
It's not because they necessarily believe what we're saying any more than they did 20 years ago.
Well, then kids should just go to school year round.
No.
Yeah, if you're going to miss that much school because of wind and rain, like they should just have to go year round. Yeah. I don't have kids, so I can say that.
Well, the interesting thing, I will say this, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system was very interesting from the standpoint of, first of all, it's a very large county. I mean, when you got a northern border on Iredell County on the way to Statesville, and then you're on the border of South Carolina, and we just happen to be in that transition zone where some parts of the county, are going to get ice and snow, and Matthews, in those areas down there are getting plain rain.
Right.
So what I've seen in the past, so the way the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system at least used to work, haven't kept up with it as much lately, but if there was one single road anywhere in Mecklenburg County that had any ice on it that was, I don't want to say impassable, but that
Right.
was tricky, the entire county would shut down, the school system. So I found that remarkable, and so it didn't take much. You get a little snow, you get a little ice up there around Huntersville, Davidson, and the folks are down around Matthews and Pineville going, okay, we'll take the day off of school, but it's just plain rain down
Yeah.
here.
This
And
is
that's
true.
why.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, but it doesn't go like where I grew up in Pittsburgh, we all had like these little townships. Like, I mean, Allegheny County was the big county in Pittsburgh, but the whole county didn't shut down. You went like township by township by township, and so that might be one reason too why you have that perception.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Maybe.
hostile on my side. I apologize. So we do gifts.
Yeah.
Wow.
See,
Jeez.
Yeah,
these
these are
Yeah.
and in case there's Bergwood.
Yeah,
in
do
case
you
you
know
know
who
who Bergwood
is
is.
because we have no clue who that is. We
Wow.
thought first that we thought this was a soccer player.
Yeah.
But then this is a football.
And he's wearing shorts.
Yeah, so we don't know. Who.
I don't know. No, I'm trying to go by the colors. You might think maybe Duke, but then it says State on it.
But it also has the Allstate hands on there too. So maybe it's like a prank by Allstate.
Oh, okay.
And they're right in good hands with Allstate. Isn't that what that was?
That sounds right.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, your turn.
Things that make you go.
You get to take this home with you, I guess.
Are you
Is
kidding?
that
I
what
didn't
we're
bring
doing?
any gifts.
That's
I am.
fine.
Oh, no.
So happy birthday. I don't know when your birthday is.
Wow. Yo, thanks. Don't rush me.
So
Yeah.
I know you probably didn't watch our last podcast.
you did.
I did.
Did you?
I think you did. Yes.
Okay, so this correlates with our last podcast.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you, I think.
Oh, is anything to be too
Let's see.
excited
Oh,
about?
Look at this. Wait a minute. What do we have here? Oh, yeah. I saw the yo-yo. That's right. I was thinking to myself, I could show them a thing or two on a
That's
yo-yo.
what I told Larry.
Yeah.
I about guarantee.
But the real gift is trying to open it up without anything.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, you done got
that's
it started.
Why, yes.
Well,
see?
I don't know how wide your camera is, but I'd be willing to try this.
Yes.
Listen,
we
we'll
would
do
love
an
that.
outtake right at the very end.
Okay, that
Actually,
sounds
we'll make
good.
it
That would
real
be
for the
perfect.
next
Okay.
for the promotional.
Because I think I can do the tricky one, which is the rock the baby.
Really?
Yeah. That's where you go down and you pull it up into a triangle, and then the whole thing is like.
So the guy at the concert couldn't do any of that.
What about like round the world? Isn't there one where you?
Yeah, that's true.
That would
It's
be
like you just
great.
go way out like this, and the thing goes around, and
I think it's great.
yeah.
We're gonna.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
I'm gonna have fun with that.
Yay.
I'm not kidding. Oh man.
So
I appreciate it.
excited.
You have a question? Because I got one.
I do.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I actually have two. I came prepared. I normally do not prepare.
Well-
I just shoot.
Well, I'm honored.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Chemical trails.
Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Hit me.
Paula,
So-
coming in hot.
Yes. So there is, I don't know if it's called
It's called
conspiracy or whatever.
Yeah, chemtrails,
And,
that's
you know,
correct.
you'll see some days it's bad. Like, especially like where I live up there. So up the end of the driveway, we have no, I call it light pollution. So you can see
I love that.
everything,
Yes.
right? And sometimes it is so covered. And I took a picture one time. I was like, what in the world?
See all
You know?
the trails up there?
Yes,
Yeah.
and someone commented those are chemical trails that someone or the government
Sure.
is putting chemicals in the air to make us sick.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Have you heard
control the
that?
weather.
Absolutely
Or
heard that.
controlled the weather. Yes.
Sure.
So okay. So what's your take on
Okay,
that?
my take. Okay, let's just try to reason through this first of
Okay.
all before I even get to the meteorology, and I will.
Okay.
You know, we have. Let's talk about the government. We have politicians that are living really everywhere. I mean, you have
Right.
local politicians, you have state politicians. You know, of course, the federal government. They have families, they have children. So the first question I would ask myself is, if we are doing that and putting some sort of a harmful chemical into the atmosphere, would these politicians be on board with that? Because they have families too. So that's the first question I would ask myself.
I've not thought of that.
It's a
is
great point. It's a
Great
great
point.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, thank you. Okay, so now I'll get you to the meteorology. The answer is an absolute categorical definitive no.
Okay.
Unless there's something that I totally don't know about. But I do understand the physical process of what those are and why you're seeing
Okay.
it.
What is?
Okay, so what happened? Let me just start off before we go up there. Let me start off with our. Is this cold? No.
It's
well, it's
semi-cold.
cool.
It's cool.
Okay. Imagine. Well, let's just take this for a second. All right. Imagine that this was really, really cold.
Okay.
Okay. You just pulled it out of the freezer. Okay. Now, hot summer day. You're out there on the back porch. What are you going to notice starting to form on the outside of
Sweat.
this? Sweat. That's right. Water.
Yeah.
Water droplets. Now, let me explain why that happened. Okay. The reason why that happened is because we have warm, humid air that has moisture in it. You can't see it. All right. So the warm, humid air hits this very cold glass. Okay. So the warm air goes, whoa, it's kind of cold. So the air cools down. Okay. As you cool the air, okay, it hits the dew point temperature. Okay. The dew point temperature is the temperature at which the air is saturated. Okay. So you cool the air to the dew point and dew forms. Okay. So now we have dew. Okay. So we've cooled the air and we have dew, water droplets. Now let's go up to the jet. Okay. Another little process. Just stay with me. This is going to sound complicated, but it's not.
I feel like I'm at a Discovery Place right now.
Yeah. the faster that you increase the velocity of the air, okay, the faster that it goes, okay, the less pressure that it exerts.
Okay.
Okay. As you decrease the pressure, okay, you also decrease the temperature. Okay? And so as you decrease the pressure and you decrease the temperature, guess what we're doing again? We're decreasing the temperature. We're going to get it down to the dew point. We're going to form water droplets. We're going to form dew. Okay. So as air flies over this wing, okay, and it goes woof like this, okay, it accelerates over the top of the wing, okay? As this air accelerates, okay, it also cools. Okay, it also lifts the airplane up into the sky, but that's another one. All right, so as you cool this air, if you happen to hit a saturated layer up there, a nearly saturated layer, you're going to cool the air, you're going to form dew, and off the back, comes that trail. That's it's water droplets, and those water droplets just happen to be forming on some of the byproduct that's coming out of the combustion of the engines. That's why you see two very distinct.
Right.
So it's taking advantage of the little particulates that are being burned off from that combustion.
Okay.
Okay. And so that's all it is. It is a cloud. It's water droplets. It's dew droplets that are forming from this
What?
very
It's more
fast-moving
fun
air.
just to be a conspiracy
Yeah, I was gonna say
theorist.
somebody's
on
gonna
it,
be like, oh no, he's probably the one flying the plane.
Yeah.
He's putting the
But
chemical.
yeah.
He's in on it.
So that's right. But so just remember, the politicians aren't going to want to drop that crap on their kids either.
Right.
You know. So no, the government's not performing any crazy tests.
I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when it snows, they say don't eat the first snow.
Oh yeah,
Right.
because of the chemicals.
Now, there actually may be a little bit more to that.
Okay.
Just because there is acid in the atmosphere. Okay, acid rain, we've all heard of that. That's a real deal. And so the very first snow that comes down may have absorbed, some of that as it falls and hits. But I think that the amount is so infinitesimal that I wouldn't worry about it.
Right.
I would much.
We eat way worse.
I
I'm
would.
sure.
I would worry
yeah.
much more about the yellow snow than I would about the acid snow, for what it's worth.
Exactly.
But no, I mean at least there's a little something to that. With folklore, and I'm not saying that either one of these is folklore. That was really more of a myth.
Yeah.
But with folklore, there is oftentimes there's some science associated with it.
Right.
Like red skies at night, sailor's delight, red
Right.
skies, and there's some science, that would be associated
Well,
with that.
here's another one. Then.
Yeah.
When cows lay down. You heard that one?
Oh.
Paula,
I've
you're
heard
from Rowan
I've
County.
heard
You
of
should
cow
know.
tipping
Yeah.
because I'm from Rowan County, but no.
Well, Eric's going to explain it.
I
Okay.
can't substantiate that one, but I'm very familiar with it. What I think where Larry was getting at was when cows lay down, it means that there's a storm either approaching or nearby.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're probably trying to get down, maybe to avoid the lightning or whatever. Or they're just scared, and that's what they do when they're
My
scared.
dog doesn't like wind, so I get it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, my little Annabelle, she just hunkers down.
Okay. So are you?
Yeah,
I
no,
can
go
go.
ahead.
My turn. Okay.
Okay.
So do you have equipment at your home? Like, do you still keep up with like the weather, like for your family's own information? You're like, I know there's a tornado coming, but they haven't
Get in the
announced
cellar.
it. Get in the
Yeah. Yes and no.
If so, can I get on that text chain? See?
Yeah, there you go. I'll answer that both ways, yes and no. People would imagine that I have this elaborate weather station there,
Oh, yeah.
and I got the anemometer blowing around up there and the rain gauge, and I do have a very basic rain gauge. That's it. I don't have any of this other equipment. However, I still do subscribe to my weather model data, and I have, I left my phone over there, but I have the best radar app that you can buy. It's for professionals, and I track lightning on it, and I can still see wind velocity and interrogate thunderstorms with it, and determine if there's a tornado maybe spinning up or whatever. So I have all of the analytical equipment. I don't have the observation equipment because that doesn't really get you very far in terms of really forecasting weather. It's fun for a lot of people out there to be able to go back 6 months and graph how much rain we've had or whatever. But I've got a USGS rain gauge right down the street from me, so I just use that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how hard was it to learn to look at the camera and then point at a green screen?
Not as hard as you would think, because as most people in this day and age know that we have television monitors that are on either side of us. So that's the first thing. And we literally are watching ourselves on television. So I'm seeing the exact same thing that you see at home in your living room. The good news is when you have this map behind you, that it's not like it's reversed.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I imagine myself, standing over Kansas right now, right over the middle of the country, okay, I know that if I turn this way, I'm going to be looking to the east, and I know if I turn this way, I'm going to be looking to the west. So there's no like, oh man, I got to, reverse myself or something. Because, even like when you take a selfie, sometimes it's backwards.
Right.
It is.
But
You think they'd fix that
I feel
technology?
like
Yeah.
when you were messing with that camera, it's kind of backwards.
What do you mean?
You know, like when you were saying, which way do I need to go?
Oh, well, that's because I was
Yeah.
standing on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
like
so it's easy to
that,
get mixed
yeah.
up. Yeah.
It is easy.
I get
But
mixed
yeah.
up just looking at
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, I know I would.
But fortunately, it's pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing that I used to try to do is, you know, with the TVs off to the side, you would see people kind of like, imagine my map here.
Okay.
Well, but if they're looking at the TV, they're like, hey, well, look at this over here. And it looks a little awkward because, you know, you can tell that the person is not really looking at this map, which is a fake map anyway.
Right.
But it just looks awkward. So I would always try to tilt my head back toward the map and look out of the corner of my eye.
Right.
So now you see my head looking like this, but I'm still seeing the TV over there. See, so I would try to make it more natural, and it wasn't because I was trying to be like, oh, I'm going to be clever. It was because I just wanted it to look more natural
Right.
because it's not distracting.
How do you
know?
think you would have done in today's time where you had to be a dancing weatherman on TikTok?
Actually, you know, it's interesting. It's one of the
We
reasons.
can make it happen.
It's one of the reasons why I decided it's time. The time is coming for me to hand off what I do to the next generation.
Right.
This is no longer my sandbox.
Yeah.
And you know, you could get me on a rant really fast, you know, with those kind of questions because
This is the place for it.
I am fine. Look, and I can't think of his name. I have no hard feelings toward the Dancing Weatherman. I really don't. I mean, he has unabashedly said, "This is who I am. This is what I'm going to do."
Right.
You know, he's not trying to be deceitful. He's genuine. You know, but at the same time, wow, yeah, that's just not how I was,
Right.
brought into the business.
I mean, we
know.
can start with.
Yo Weatherman?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
that'd
you
be a
go.
good title.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo
But
kind
no,
of implies
Yeah.
crazy though, right?
but you know, when you bring him up, he sort of epitomizes, I guess, that next generation that's coming from the standpoint of they're and again, I don't want to lump everybody into the same category, but there's a lot of pressure now because of all the social media on your traditional broadcasters to sort of change the way they do things.
Yeah.
You know, and the pressure that's on them now is to basically be narcissistic.
Yeah.
You know, and the pressure that's being put on them is we don't really care what you do. We need more clicks. We need more likes.
Right.
You know, go for it. You know, and it just at that point when the needle goes from I'm serving others to I'm serving myself,
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to where when we were talking before the camera started rolling, how you said everything's different when you would go by ratings, and then they go in a little bit about that because basically that circles back to this conversation because now you're competing with social media, you're competing
Absolutely.
with TikTok, you're competing because people aren't turning on the news anymore. They're clicking on their phone. And so that's how they're getting their ratings to go up now. Whereas,
well, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's I hate to use the word desperate, but it really is. It's a desperate attempt, to kind of cling on to the remaining people that are still willing to flip on that television. And I got to tell you, television really was put into an impossible situation once the internet arrived. I mean, this all got started in the mid-90s. And when those first websites came out, the TV station, I remember WBTV, I remember they were like, no, we're not going to, why would we create a website? Because all that's going to do is going to pull our TV viewers
Right.
away from the TV and they're going to get their news on the website, which is free.
Right.
But eventually it was like,
choice,
you had no choice, And so now we're going to cannibalize the TV station, even, and they're going to come over to the website. So then the only hope you have at that point to make up for that lost revenue is to put your on-air people everywhere you possibly can put them. As you mentioned a minute ago, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, the website, the station's app. So you just start, bringing in as much revenue as you can from
Right.
all these different sources. But I will tell you right now, the sum of the parts will never equal the whole.
Yeah.
You know, it's so fragmented now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
So-
I mean,
Right.
it's
Well, so this is a perfect segue. You said if it's not serving people, you don't want to do it, right? So
Yeah.
I've come to find out a little bit more about what you do, and
Yep.
you know, with Home Again, and then you're also a big proponent for adoptions. So I would love to hear more about that, and maybe just start with Home Again. And, you know, we just went to that, and I won some peanuts and some gift cards, and
good for you.
Oh wow!
Stuff.
Yeah. If you don't mind, can I flip it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll start off with the whole adoption thing because that kind of led into the Home Again.
okay.
But in terms of my own personal story, I was born in 1960, and back then, abortion wasn't even legal, but it was still happening. And I was an unplanned pregnancy. And, you know, of course, back then when you had the really traditional families, boy, you know, my birth mother was 18 years old. She was a sophomore in college. And boom, she's pregnant, out of wedlock. And she had to hide from her family.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, because there was shame.
Shame.
Yeah, and so the thing is, when I found out that I was adopted, I was so appreciative of the sacrifices that my birth mother made because she could have found a back alley somewhere,
Right.
and not had to hide and not had to deal with the shame and everything else that society put on her back in 1960. So I had an immediate, like, positive reaction to that news. You know. By the way, I will tell you, people say, "Well, when did your parents tell you you were adopted?" And I always have a chuckle because they say, "Well, I was in third grade, and I remember I was downstairs playing with my Hot Wheels, and my mom called me up to the kitchen, and I went up and I said, 'Hey,' and she said, 'Hey, I just wanted to ask you, did you know you were adopted?'" And I said, "No, I did not know that." And then I said, "What's adopted?" You know, and she goes, "Well, it just means you weren't born from my belly." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Can I go back and play with my Hot Wheels now?" It didn't matter in the least.
Right.
What do you think prompted her to do that right then at that time and that day?
I think she realized, I better tell him now before he becomes a teenager and he's hormonal.
She's just and cooking. She's like, you know what?
You know, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Aaron, come upstairs for a minute, honey.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, I when I go out and I give a speech now, that's my advice. They say, make sure you tell your kid before they're hormonal and they're looking for another reason to be mad at the world.
True.
You know?
Fair enough.
So anyway, so I kind of, from that point forward, I kind of got a kick out of it because I hate to say it, but I mean, I guess I did end up in television, so I can't run away from the fact, I guess I liked attention. So you know, going up through high school was a great icebreaker. You know, if there was a cute girl I wanted to meet, it's like, "Hey, did you know I was adopted?" You know, didn't quite go that, you know, but anyway, it was, you know, and of course, naturally, the first question that almost always people used to ask me was, "Wow, you're adopted. Well, did you ever try to find your real mom?" You know, or your dad, but usually mom is the one that comes up. And, you know, I would nicely correct them and say, "Well, I mean, I was raised by my real mom." I said, but no, the answer is no. I never tried to find my birth mother. And they're like, "Why not? Are you mad?" You know, and I'm like, "No, actually, I love my birth mother for what she did for me. But the fact is that she made all these sacrifices for me and gave me all this appreciation for just getting that first gulp of air. And I have all this appreciation for her. And then I have all this appreciation for my family who raised me as their own. There's no void in my life. And so I had no incentive to try to find her. And the truth is, a lot of times these stories don't turn out very well.
Right.
You know, sometimes the birth mother doesn't want to be found. I've heard other stories too where, you know, you locate your birth mother and then, you know, your other 4 brothers and sisters show up and go, oh, okay, so you want part of the inheritance now.
Yeah.
You know, and so that That doesn't go well. You know.
I could see it. Oh, you're on TV. Can we?
Or could go the other way.
Yeah, other way.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I feel like.
When can we move in?
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So anyway, so fast forward to WBTV, and I had, for one reason or another, had told my station management. I said, every Friday at noon we have a dog or a cat, that we feature, to be adopted. So, we got a lot of kids in our community that would also appreciate being adopted. I love the dogs and the cats. I said, but I was adopted, and I just feel so appreciative of the opportunities I was given. Why don't we, try to do something? It took a while, to not kick that door in.
Yeah.
But finally, by God's grace, there was an agency, a production company kind of thing. Well, they're everything. I don't want to just say production company. Forever Family is an amazing organization, but they do all the production as well. And they cold called WBTV and didn't know me from Adam, and called my boss and said, hey, we go by Forever Family, and we were just wondering if you'd be interested in allowing us to produce a weekly series for you, no cost to you, none, and we will write it, produce it, we'll film it, and if you guys want to, provide a host for it, that would be great. And my boss is like, how much again? And they said, free. He said, when can you be here? And they said, because I think we know somebody who might want to do this, And so, boom, that's how Forever Family happened. Mm-hmm. And so every week for about 7 years, we would feature another child in foster care who was interested in, obviously, a forever home. And 2 out of 3 kids that we featured, 2 out of 3 were matched. Wow. Week after week after week after week. Yeah. And people would, call up requesting, to meet these children or whatever, and they were maybe spoken for. And then there was a trickle down. So, well, do you have anybody else? Well, sure, come on in, But the thing I want to emphasize is that this organization, they always said that we are finding parents for children, not the other way around.
Right.
Okay, so so the children were always the top priority.
Oh, that is wonderful. That gave me chill bumps.
Oh, well, that's that cool.
That is
So
wonderful.
and it was such a blessing to be able to be given that megaphone that I could speak up for these kids. Yeah. So okay, I retire, and actually the Forever Family thing actually went on for a little while. But I did retire, so I finally got my life stream again. I got to join a bowling league. In fact, I'm celebrating today. That's why I wore my bowling shirt just for you guys.
I love it.
So I'm at the bowling alley, and this guy walks up to me, and he goes, hey, love what you do, with the Forever Family and the children and all this kind of stuff. I was wondering if you might be willing to help us. And I said, well, what do you do? And he said, well, I work for, I started up this organization, foundation called the Home Again Foundation. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, okay, well, what do you do? And he said, we're trying to build communities, for everybody, for people who are at risk of housing insecurity, homeless, if you want. Right. You'd be surprised, when I hear the word homeless, the first image that comes to my mind is, the people you see on the street corners, the unsheltered, as we say. Mm-hmm. They're a tiny fraction of the people who are literally technically designated as homeless. In our community, there's over 3,500 people in Charlotte alone that are designated as homeless. And they might be, victims of a divorce or bankruptcy. They're sleeping on their brother-in-law's couch, things like that. But it goes beyond the people who are already homeless. I mean, we're trying to build communities for people who are just below that line right now.
Right.
You've got firefighters, you have, first responders, police, teachers, and veterans. These are all people who are below that line right now.
Isn't that a shame?
It completely. Yeah. And so that's how it happened. It was funny, Larry, because when Rick was telling me all about this at the bowling alley, I'm like, so you build houses, for people at risk? And he goes, oh no, we build communities. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, really? I said, and then I thought, is this like Hugh McCall I'm talking to? I mean, who you like a CEO of?
Right.
And so I asked him. I said, should I know you? And he goes, no. He goes, I'm a forklift driver at Sam's Club. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and you've already built a community in North Charlotte? And he's like, yeah. And I was just like, when he told me as a forklift driver, I was ready to pretty much like, okay, this guy's,
Right.
you've got a big heart, but
Yeah.
you know. Anyway, so I was like ready to go back because they're waiting for me to go bowl. And he goes, wait, let me just show you a picture of our community. So he shows me these pictures, and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, this is like the real deal, you know? And I said, okay, sign me up. You know, how can I help? You know, and so kind of joined. So anyway, and Larry, do you film at all? I mean, you're a real estate agent,
I am.
right? Yeah. Okay. And I love your wedding venue,
Thank
by the way. I mean,
you.
this is
Thank you.
this is
I already told
unbelievable.
them they should hit you up to come out here and have
You,
Yeah. Oh, I've got a couple weddings under my belt. I avoided them for a while. No, not personally. yeah.
Eric, I do, so.
Yeah. So, but anyway, no, now see, I lost my train of thought.
Y'all could host an event out here. That would be
that would be.
nice.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah, we don't like weddings.
Yeah.
We like
Yeah.
when we actually help people like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I see.
That
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, that's wonderful. Yeah. Oh, this would be fantastic.
Okay, we're doing it.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. Thank you. Yeah. But
We got it on camera. That's got to happen now.
I was talking about the filming,
Yeah.
and what was I? Do you remember what I was talking about?
Well, he showed you the community.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then,
The
that was it.
portfolio.
Yeah. So he basically said, "How can I help you?" And he goes, "Well, can you film us? You know, and make some promotional videos for us?" I said, "Sure." So I did, and you know. And Larry knows me now because I try to help nonprofits, and I didn't charge him much, but you know I charged something.
Yeah.
And then I guess he got tired of paying me, and he said, "You're now on the board," you know. And so, so I'm on the board now, and so now I do everything, you know, gratis or whatever.
That
But
is
anyway, no, it's
wonderful.
great. Yeah, it's very rewarding. I mean, it gets me out of bed in the morning
Yeah.
and keeps me out from underfoot from my wife.
and approximately how many people do you guys think y'all have assisted over the years?
Well, you know, the thing is that's the frustrating part, and you saw we are on the cusp of a breakthrough. This community in North Charlotte has 8 cottages, and they range from 1 bedroom to up to a 3 bedroom, and they're very nicely. They're small. You know, like the biggest one is only like 1,100, 1,200 square feet.
Right.
The smallest one is like a studio, like 450 or 500. But I don't want people to think that they're like just these tiny homes. You know, you've heard about those.
Yeah.
I mean, the smallest one probably could be, but they're nicely appointed homes. You know, solid surface countertops, nice millwork. You know, in the woodwork in there. We have the thing about these communities is, and I'm going to get back to your question, is that they have. They're completely managed on the exterior. So I mean, the grass is cut. Pine needles, you know, everything's well taken care of and manicured. And then the biggest thing is we offer wraparound services. So if people, you know, who come into the community, like they have financial problems or bankruptcy, as we said a minute ago, we can help them with that. We can help them with, somebody got helped with child custody. We've helped people with continuing education. There was a woman who lived there who we helped, who is now a pastor of a church. You know, and she was homeless. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's things like that. But Larry, to your question, that community is still the only finished community that we have right now. We have just put an offer of $1.7 million on a 18 and a half acres in just outside of Wingate in Union County.
Oh yeah, my son went.
And
to
it
Wingate.
is an unbelievably beautiful piece of land. You saw a
pretty
little
out
bit
there,
of it,
yeah.
you know, and it would be at least large enough for at least 500 people. 500 people. It would have a farmer's market, a daycare. It'll have an elderly care. It'll have a minute clinic. It will have a grocery store, a natural garden. I mean, just unbelievable.
That's amazing.
So, and we have now a builder in the fold. We have a bank. You know, the bank is in the
Right.
fold. So we think we can now get the construction loan. You know, because once we get it built, you know, the revenue from the rent, and it is rental.
Right.
It is rental. We'll keep it self-sustained.
That is
So-
wonderful.
So-
That
But
is
the
so
thing is
wonderful.
always just getting
Yeah.
the word out, right? And
Absolutely.
That's what I find. Like, I don't know how much you know about the charity stuff that I do. It's all for mental health, and Unfortunately, I've lost four people to suicide, all men, and you know, my biggest problem with all that is the fact that it's just so doggone hard to get the message out, because just like you were saying with how the news is trying to get their clicks, everybody else is still trying to get their own personal clicks too, right? So everybody's just having to wade through the nonsense and the dancing and all that, you know. So I feel for you on that. I know you'll get there, because obviously that cause is so good, and it can only succeed. So.
Well, I appreciate your vote of confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know what you're doing, because I was fortunate enough. Larry asked me to help him film the mental health awareness for Bryce Young, the Lenders Open, and I mean that was such a well organized, well run. I mean, you know, so you know what you're doing. Well, I'll tell you that much.
And he does it well.
I've done a lot of events, and it's blood, sweat, and tears. We actually had an event here last year in October. Now, I'll let you know, there's only one stream of water in this whole place, and it's in that bathroom.
Yeah.
So we had a full
back.
sit-down Italian dinner.
Yeah.
Man, you talk about ambitious.
Yeah.
This place was packed, and we had to do all the cooking off site. It was a fun night.
It was
a beautiful night.
And what was the occasion?
It was for mental health. Yeah.
Oh wow!
So, we donated all the funds to Mental Health of America.
Nice.
So really, this year was the first year that we transitioned to another charity. So.
Well, and tell me a little bit, because it seems like the whole mental health crisis, I'll call it that, seems like it just keeps getting worse, and it seems like there's so many more people getting medicated now, and it doesn't really, in the big picture, seem to be helping much.
Yeah, no, you would think. I mean, and I'm not going to have all the numbers for you, but you know, once we get into the crux of it, I think people, and I'm 47, about to turn 48. You know, when I grew up, we didn't have a garage. We didn't pull straight into our vehicle or into our house and never talk to anybody, right? Like we always saw people out.
Oh yeah.
Right? So, you know, small things like that, you get detached, and now you have an internet society, and everything is, you know, so plastic and temporary and throwaway.
Yeah.
You know, so if a relationship's not worth keeping up with, then I'm done with you.
It's
right?
crazy.
So, those things, though, and then you have broken homes. You know, like that does not help.
I'm sure.
You know, if you want to, I don't know, we're not going to talk about politics. I'm not scared to talk about politics.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have all kinds of division everywhere you look, right? So I just think at the end of the day, people are just feeling lonely. They're not putting themselves in the right situation, either on purpose or by accident, and those things just start to pile up over time.
And I do believe, like you said, a lot of it stems from not just gathering with people anymore.
100%.
You know, when you are secluded, it's not healthy. Like it is not healthy. Like myself, I feel better when I'm with people. You know, or you go out.
We're social creatures.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's the problem.
Well, you look at
a lot of the problem is.
Look at the psychology of somebody who's in jail in solitary confinement. They go crazy.
True.
Right? And that's no different from us.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, to amplify your point, not only are we all isolated, because we're staring at this the whole time, but while you're isolated, you're seeing what perfect lives everybody else has. I mean, even though it's an illusion, but everybody wants to put their perfect life, and you're like, man, I am a loser.
True.
I'm not only alone, but everybody else is just on top of the world, So that doubly.
Yeah. I agree. I agree, and I know we know someone that their daughter suffered with eating disorder.
Oh wow!
And well, actually, I know two people that their daughters have suffered with eating disorders, and I think it's a lot because comparison.
Right. Yeah, of course.
They follow these celebrities, and they think, well, I'm going to be like that.
Well, okay, you know what? I'm never going to put my Lamborghini on there again. I'm just,
I did get sad about that.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm out there with my Mazda CX-5, but no, to your point, and this is sort of a little bit related, maybe not quite directly related, but we were talking about the Dancing Weatherman earlier, and I said that was sort of one of the things that made me realize my time is coming. I'm not going to dance. And the other thing with the phones was, and again, this gets back to a little bit what we're talking about how we all want to showcase ourselves. Yeah. And I'm going to call out the guys and the girls on this. So where do you want me to start? You want to start calling out a girl or a guy?
Let's start with ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay. Part of the problem I had, and remember now, female meteorologists are just as scientific as male meteorologists, and so I believe everybody should be taking the science seriously. So what I started seeing was the female meteorologist who happened to be in the dressing room at Kohl's, or where do you shop now? I don't even know where people shop.
Amazon.
Well, no. It has to be a dressing room.
Let's just
Yeah, the mall. All right.
Right. No, you're going.
What dress should I wear? Does this dress work for tonight?
Right.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're a meteorologist?
Yeah.
And the same thing with the guys. The guy is in the gym.
All right.
And he's pumping some iron, and and I'm like, all right, I this is it. This is it. What happened to meteorology?
Yeah.
Well, we're in real estate,
Yeah,
and
so
we're
I
seeing
know.
the same thing.
Oh, do you really?
We
Yeah.
have these
Yeah.
agents that will just get on and dance. It
I
has to
love
be
it.
for attention. Like I poke fun at it because I don't do it, and nor would I do
I
it.
don't think I.
Two left
Maybe
feet,
I don't-
whatever
I
they
don't
want to
know.
say.
I don't know really.
But no, I don't know. I don't think things like that are changing. It's just like the
I
internet.
think
We're not
it-
going
no.
backwards. Like those are just always going to be the
It's just gonna
things
be
that
there and-
people have to compete with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we could get you to dance on video, we can maybe get some people to get some donations to home again.
Actually, it's
But
funny.
he's gonna do a yo-yo trick.
I'll do a yo-yo trick. It's funny. I don't have the right shoes for it, but Maureen O'Boyle did convince me to moonwalk in one of her Facebook posts
you
a
go.
while back.
There
So
you go.
yeah, and it was
that's
funny
awesome.
because Coach Lamont, I think it was him, tried it the next day on the morning show because I guess apparently it caught a little fire, local fire. So they put it up on the morning show the next day, and then it told Coach Lamont, he was like, "Oh man, that's nothing." You want to see a real moonwalk? I'll show you a real. Well, he apparently messed it all up, and so So anyway, I felt pretty good about
I
that.
love it. I
Well,
love
let's
it.
bring this thing home.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we want to know, what can people do specifically for you to get in touch with, Home Again? What ways can?
Yeah.
What's your biggest need right now?
Well, the biggest need right now, and this isn't going to surprise you, we could still use some financial help.
Sure.
Because there are down payments and things like that. So we could use that. And again, the website is home. I don't have a sign here, but it's
We'll put it on the grid.
yeah, it's homeagainclt.org. Or you could go to, if you just want to know more, Home Again Foundation, the Facebook page. You go to Eric Thomas Weather. Put up some really cool lightning shots up last night.
Did you?
But Eric Thomas Weather. And you could actually message me directly on there, and I'll answer any questions for you too. But yeah, so I would imagine there's a lot of you out there who probably know somebody who's struggling.
Yeah.
And again, it's not because they're out of work. It's just because of the sky high, home prices right now.
Yeah.
The afford
And economy is-
Yeah.
is
I'd like to
tough.
see something change there. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I just don't know when or how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's almost, once you've opened a can of Pringles, it's not going.
Well, or
it's not
bag
closing again,
of
right?
Doritos was $7.
Yeah.
I quit.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
I'm like, I went to the grocery store and
Let's go
I'm
Oh
hungry.
like,
my God.
$7 for a bag of Doritos?
No, but I know what you mean, Larry. It's like a temporary tax increase.
Right. Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Never.
We'll wait till that goes back down.
I don't know, and I don't plan to move to Belize or anything like that anytime soon either.
You know
so.
I'm not.
No.
Yeah, she's not going
Right.
anywhere if it's a plane or a boat or a car past.
Oh my gosh.
Past Rowan County.
Nope.
Yeah. That's
Well,
good.
Eric, it's been a pleasure
Yeah,
getting to know you.
thank you.
What an honor. Thank
yeah.
you for having me. Yeah.
You're our second guest.
Okay.
Our first guest, we had some technical
Yeah, we
difficulties,
did.
so hopefully we're in the clear here.
Okay.
But we were going to stop the cameras and then we're going to see if this guy can do a yo-yo.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's
All right,
let's do
guys,
it.
till the next time. Larry Lauder, Paula,
Paula, Steve.
Eric Thomas. Cheers.
All right. Get ready, pal. There it is. Right there. Okay, hold on. All right, now let's see if we go behind. I don't think this will work.
I mean, better than most. Better than the most.